Okay.
Don't choke.
Okay. So for Midas Liquid Chalk, Joel, you asked me to kind of go over two different things, which was your audience and who you could expand it to, as well as the best way that you could market it. So kind of just going through with it, moving forward, I kind of wanted to think about before, like when you first started Midas, and what was the first thing you thought of, like starting a business? What's the first thing you think of doing?
What was the first thing I thought of doing?
Like, what was the first step in starting your business?
It's simply an idea. Me and Donnie literally were just rock climbing. Someone gave us a liquid grip enhancer. I think it was a liquid chalk. And we basically were just like, oh, we found out we can make it for ourselves super cheap. And we did it. And then we kind of talked, things led up to it. And we kind of talked about just like New Year's resolution was like, why don't we just start a business? I've always wanted to try one. And then we made our own brand, and then we made it better than everyone else did. And we're like, why don't we just use this as a model? And then went from there.
Yeah. So yeah, like, so I
So
did.
it's off rock climbing too.
Yeah. So it was basically for the purpose of rock climbing, which you said was one of your audiences that you have right now.
Yeah.
So who is your audience? Obviously, is rock climbing. That's one of the main things that you look at when you're starting a business. As far as what I understand, I obviously have not started a business yet, but from Taylor, my husband's dad, that's one of the main things he's always told us about, as how you market it to them, which is the 2 points that I wanted to talk to you about. But with your product itself, with liquid chalk, I looked up to why people even use chalk in the first place, and it's all for any exercise or activity that requires grip. So kind of expanding on like who you can broaden it to. I don't know who else you have other than rock climbing and CrossFit, but because those are the two you told me about.
Two main ones, yeah.
Yeah, two big ones. Is gymnastics. I used to do gymnastics. They live on chalk for every part of their any like part of gymnastics that they do. They're constantly using chalk. If you ask anyone that does gymnastics, they live out of their gymnastics bag. And so I think having your product there would actually be a good bonus for them to have. The second one was any field events. So like discus or pole vault or things like this, they use chalk to hold on to the I didn't do any of those sports. I wasn't strong enough in high school, but I know they used it. And gyms as well. Like, you guys are both students at BYU, as far as I understand. Is that right?
I'm at BYU, Donnie's at UVU, but same area. So yeah, sure.
Okay. So you guys, there's tons of, at least at BYU, Idaho, you see kids that go there that are obsessed with working out. And sometimes they have to bring their own chalk because the school doesn't provide it. So I know there's a conflict sometimes with the school and selling things that aren't with them. But if you could work it out with them, I'm sure that would be a great person to.
Yeah, Donnie actually did. He told me about somebody from BYU's track team. I can't remember if it was pole vaulting or something like that, discus, whatever. But someone on there like was saying they wanted chalk like really bad, and yeah. So like, but we just haven't really like made the effort to market to them.
Yeah,
there was a very eventually of like how like there is like rules, but with like college athletes and like marketing with them and stuff. So it's javelin. Yeah, javelin throwing instead.
Javelin. Yeah. So so because the chalk will protect their grip, like in there, so it doesn't tear up their hands, which I'm sure you already knew about. But the gyms, both the schools as well as public gyms, I'm sure would be more than willing to be interested in it, or at least like you could set up a booth, which is one way of marketing it, and kind of moving forward with getting people to try your product there. Which is kind of where I wanted to go with marketing with it. And I'm kind of using it based off of a experience I had with social media marketing with an internship that I did when I was living in Rexburg, as well as what I researched about for this presentation. But I only found you guys on Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, and website. Was there anything else that I missed that I didn't find you on?
No, that's it.
Okay, my only question then is, why aren't you on Twitter? If you don't mind me asking.
I'll leave that one to Donnie. Just kidding. Just kidding. I think we just didn't view Twitter as effective. Neither. I don't have a Twitter. Donnie's on Twitter. We're just both unfamiliar with it, so we just like kind of we haven't really been strong on social media. Like here's the thing. The main thing that sucks is that we're still in full-time school, and like it's the excuse, I know, but like it's really hard to manage everything all at once. So we haven't really been super like we made social media platforms right now, but we aren't Twitter because we just both don't have them, and we just for it.
And this is all
But
just
we are heavily focusing on Amazon right now. Like Amazon's our number one focus right now.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. But like the reason I bring up the Twitter is because there's always a different audience depending on the platform that you're using, which is something I learned with my internship. You can have somebody who is on Facebook who doesn't have a Twitter, like how you guys are, but the people who are on Twitter don't have a Facebook account. And so it's a
No,
totally
it's true. Like just because we don't use it doesn't mean other people don't. I actually learned this in my management communications class. Like even today, like because we did social media audits with like different companies, like startups around here, and a lot of them didn't really have Twitter either, and weren't active on Twitter. But like the really successful ones, like were active on Twitter, and it's like kind of shocking how much reach it did have, even though like I don't really use it. So yeah, that's a good point.
I don't use Twitter very often, but when I was doing my internship, we did a lot of promotions through Twitter, and it was surprising by how many people actually did use it.
Oh yeah, Twitter's huge right now. Like,
But yeah, so that's the only reason I wanted to point it out was Twitter's something else you can broaden it to. The other thing you told me about, Joel, when I asked you what kind of topics you wanted me to reach out or to research on, was you said that once people try your product, they will love it.
yeah.
So with trying to broaden your audience with this too, it's a suggestion, but maybe, like how I said about the booths at like the gym, or if you go to a gymnastics place, because there's tons here in Utah.
Yeah, something we've done is like sponsor competitions, and we'll sample things out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The sampling, because that not only like will broaden your target audience, you can get them to try it while they're there practicing or something. You gain you can ask them to come back to you or follow up with them and go find them somewhere in the gym and say, how did you like it? And you can use that for your promotions when you do start getting more influence with your social media, and seeing if they'd be willing to do like a video or a picture of themselves using it, and you can use what they say on your posts. It's really good like promotion. So it's not just the same people over and over again. It's a different audience. They see that's actually people are using it. Okay, so these next few slides are just tips that I found through research. I did also use these myself, but just kind of going into it then. You first want to find your market, and that goes with the platform that you use and the different audiences with each one. And there's certain places you can go to figure out what age group, what gender, and what kind of activities of people who use different platforms. Like someone who does it and is 35 and a male is probably more likely like on Twitter than on Facebook. Do that research. The second tip is making it manageable. So you don't want to find a ton of different like places you can put your product on and become overwhelmed and not be able to handle it all. Find like a few places where you can sell it or promote it, and make the quality of those more important than the quantity. With getting a visual on it, I really liked your website with the first video that you showed, getting their attention through video pictures, because it captures their attention and gets them interested in it. Going native, is for the, again, with finding each platform is different. So you don't want to post the same thing on Facebook that you do Twitter. Or if you do, change it a little bit, because for Twitter, you're allowed a certain amount of characters to post.
Yeah.
Where Facebook, you can post a novel. and it's fine. You can't do that with Twitter. Being conversational was kind of key with my internship. You had a lot of people who would message you on Facebook or email you, and it's really important to get back to them.
Yeah, being responsive for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's key with getting them, because it builds a trust between you and the person who's interested in your product too.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the right kind of engagement. So that was had to do with not only having your social media and promoting your product, but to getting them to have an action towards it and having that drive to go to your website and purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a call to action kind of a thing.
Yeah, we're talking about like driving people from our Instagram to our Amazon, because we really want to focus on Amazon right now. So
yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So like having like, say, now go find us here and we for this amount of price, or like you had a Black Friday deal because it's Christmas right now.
Yeah.
They go here to for 10% off or however much you wanted to do it for. Leveraging the trends is depending on the area you're in and what's going on at the time. So like what's trending at the moment, you can use that to your advantage with selling your product.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with influencers, and that's anyone that you're partnered with, as well as people who may have used your product in the past. So I know Seth has used your product, and I know that on your website he's also been one of the people you've gone to for promoting your product. So that kind of a thing.
Donnie, type something.
Yeah, what's the best way to connect with influencers? That's kind of the thing with that, and what we found with my internship, and I keep going back to that because that's my main focus of social media marketing, is my internship was with Madison Cares, which is a mental health grant through Madison School District in Rexburg, Idaho. And they were partnered with places like the hospital. And so they used that connection to gain more influences with the community. So that kind of a thing. Does that make sense? Guys, I know Donnie has to type it, but I hope that
I'll type it for him. Yes.
Okay. But then
he said yeah.
Okay, good. Awesome. And then like giving freely, it's not just the giving like samples, it's do unto others as you would have unto you, kind of the golden rule with that. If you have someone you're partnered with and you want them to share your posts, you have to do the same for them. You can't expect them to share your post if you're not willing to do that same thing.
Yeah. And
the last step, the most important thing I think you can do with marketing anything, is you need to track it. You need to find a way in a system that works best for you guys in order to figure out what posts do the best, what places, like whether Facebook does better than Twitter for you, or in just kind of what you're saying gains more of traction to your audience, because that will help you improve your market as time moves on.
Mm-hmm.
And we use that a lot. I think we pulled up and tracked everything at least once a week to figure out how our stats were going with what we were promoting and such. Like we weren't selling anything, but any events that we promoted, we always looked back to see how it.
Or like simply recording results, see if it has any effect.
Exactly. But I think the key thing with all of it is no matter what you do and who you or what way you go about it, is to find a way to be consistent with it. So I know you guys are both in school. Trust me, I get it. I finishing up school and I'm about to have a baby any week.
In a week?
I'm due in 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
Where the crap have I been?
Yeah. But it's thank you, Donnie.
So much emotion in that text. Wow, congrats. That's crazy.
Yeah. But it's hard to find a rhythm, but no matter when you do get to that point where you can have one, make sure that you stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, out of everything, like this is all super valuable. Like we definitely have like certain strategies we need to focus on, but I think like the number one thing is like this one being consistent, and easier
Mhm.
said than done because like I keep saying like, oh, I'm in school, and it's true. Like me and
Mhm.
Donnie constantly complain about how like we have senioritis and we hate school, and just like
Yeah.
it's like the last thing we want to do is like be done with school 8 o'clock at night, and then like, all right, let's do more of our own business stuff on the side. Like we want to like do our own thing and relax. It's kind of hard to balance it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's still going. It's like a surely but slow process because it's selling, it's working. We just like
Mhm.
need to be more consistent. You're right.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I hope that some of this was able to kind of give you an idea for when you do get started on your social media marketing. Uh, but the main thing that I kind of wanted to drive home was no matter what you do, find a way to be consistent with it, whether it's posting the same thing every day or the same day every week. Um, that's what you do. Or you can do automated posts as well. With Madison Cares, there's a certain place I can't remember the name of it because it was over a year ago I did this internship, but we would put posts for the whole month. Every Monday, it would automatically go through on
Hmm.
Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Um, and it was like something as simple as, because it was a mental health grant that I did my internship with. So it was like Motivational Monday posts that we did, but we always posted it every Monday. Um, so that kind of a thing with it.
Yeah,
But
totally. Yeah, I think we're thinking about getting interns and just
yeah.
having people manage social media because we just don't have the manpower for that.
Hmm.
But no, you're right.
But yeah, that's just, I think that would be the best way with the way communities kind of heading towards to market your product is through social media. Everybody's on it now.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
almost every company uses it. Uh, did you guys have any other questions?
Um, what would you say the best way is to, for as far as like Instagram, what's the best way to get organic followers? Because we don't just like want people, random crap people to follow us and then nothing
Mhm.
happens. Yeah, like how do we get people who we sell to follow us? A large number.
So people who already bought your product,
Yeah.
uh, I would probably just say now go follow it. Like when they buy it, um, like if you're going to buy it through Amazon, you can put a little thing. You can follow us at here on Instagram.
Yeah, we do have a
Other
little
promotions or anything
sticker.
like that. Just kind of getting a way for them to always be in touch with anything new product or new events that you have going on,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. But
Donnie says, yeah, I think social media is the way to go. It definitely should be our next step. We need to push it more and be more consistent. Close quote, Donnie.